Have you ever wanted a desert setting for TTRPGs? Something like Dune meets Mad Max? Then you need the Scorched Basin, an incredible human-first desert punk expansion for all TTRPGs. It's packed with formidable monsters, gorgeous battle maps, 5 fully fleshed out factions rich in lore and character, and a brand new one-of-a-kind magic system. It's got expanded rules for land vehicle combat, tons of new player options, and is system agnostic, meaning that anyone can explore the basin no matter what kind of game you're playing. It's been worked on by over 100 fantastic and talented creators in the community, including myself. Yes, I'm a collaborator on this project. They gave me my own giant sandworm as thanks. I call him Mr. Wiggly. I even get directly supported for every backer that uses my link in the description, so if you like this channel or think you'll enjoy the Scorched Basin, and trust me, there's something here for everyone, you should do that. Literally everyone gets something out of this. There's even a special tier on Kickstarter, and the first 500 backers of this tier get a limited edition metal print of the Scorched Basin, numbered and hand-signed by the artist. So if you're ready to conquer the wastes of the best desert punk setting for any TTRPG, check out the Scorched Basin. Live now on Kickstarter, link in the description.
Want to see a magic trick? Good. Abracadabra!
Ah, world building. A lore nerd's best friend and a DM's headache. When you're trying to make your own D&D campaign, world setting, what have you, it needs to be like your recipe for cake. Add too much of one thing or not enough of the other, and all you get is kind of a mess. A delicious mess, no doubt, but still a mess, and I think we all want our world cakes to look pretty and tasty. I need to put the disclaimer up before I get too hungry. Disclaimer time! When I first started working on this video, I was gonna briefly explain D&D's magic system, then try to build my own from scratch. And did I do that? Did I accomplish that? Well... yeah... I was in way over my head. Building my own magic system, fun, but also awful at the same time, I'm not gonna lie. So unless you want 20 minutes of me on here weeping over a pile of notes, reference materials, and empty white monster cans, we're gonna instead build our own world with the systems already in place, not reinventing the wheel and all that. For now, let's focus on putting magic into our world. Page 23 of the Dungeon Master's Guide describes magic as a force both natural and wondrous. Everybody knows of it and sees evidence of its existence at some point in their lives. It is both a part of everyday life and a cosmic force defining beings from beyond our world and legendary powers that change history. The very next page of the DMG has a list of questions to help DMs incorporate magic into their games. I followed along and made some additions to help incorporate magic into this world, so let's see what we can do. Number 1, what is magic? Before we can worry about how magic interacts with the setting, we need to define it. I will be defining magic as an energy that permeates the prime through other planes of existence, being changed as it passes through each plane, sort of like a river. In fact, instead of calling magic just the magic or the art, let's call it the flow. This energy is typically harmless in its natural ambient form, unless it is highly concentrated in a specific area, or spellcasters meddling around with it. Speaking of spellcasters, those are the people who can harness the energy through different mediums in order to influence the world around them, whether that be fireballs, magic shields, or reading minds. The flow permeates both the physical and the metaphysical, after all. Now let's define magic by its 2 most common types, divine and arcane. A lot of people hear divine magic and automatically assume gods, and while that's not incorrect, I would argue that divine magic is more about the power of belief. Clerics, druids, paladins, and rangers are all practitioners of divine magic, because they believe in something greater than themselves. And they believe in it so much that it literally gives them power. A paladin's oath, a cleric's faith in their god, a druid's connection to nature. All of these things can empower a divine spellcaster. Arcane magic, on the other hand, is defined by study, practice, and force of will. By understanding it, they might control it. Wizards can call upon the reality-warping energy of the flow through complex magical formulas and saying woobity-woobity-woo. Sorcerers are born with this energy inside them. They have a high concentration of flow just nested in their tum-tum. They still need to practice, but for them, it's more like exercising a muscle or pushing through a runner's wall, getting their magic to behave through sheer force of will. And speaking of exercise, I'm going to put monks and bards in this category. I know that ki isn't technically magic, but monks get their anime-inspired powers through rigorous training and mental discipline, and certain monks' abilities straight up let you cast spells, so I'm gonna do it. Fight me in the comments. We'll have a we'll have a monk fight in the comments. Are monks magical or not? Question 2. How do gods and magic interact? Gods can't be the source of magic, we've already established that, so let's have the gods act as mediums by which mortals can acquire their spellcasting abilities. Your cleric wants to cast some spells? Well, thankfully, gods have divine magic on tap. Here you go, little buddy. Go. Do a crime. Wet your whistle with a level 4 spirit guardians. Question 3. Is magic common or rare?
You filthy little mudblood.
This really depends on your tastes, how fantastical or realistic you want to make your setting. I enjoy high fantasy, so we'll make magic uncommon. Its influence is felt across all aspects of life, but only those gifted or privileged enough can make everyday use of it. Monsters, on the other hand, are inherently magical, but the rarity of magic does bring up another problem. Why can we only cast spells up to 9th level? In the Forgotten Realms, a hard cap was put on mortal spellcasting by Mystra, goddess of magic, because someone, not gonna name names, cough cough Carsus cough, got a little silly and tried to murder her previous incarnation and steal her job, only to find he was vastly underqualified and collapsed from the pressure. But we're gonna do something a little different for my setting. How about this? Spellcasters have created a level system, but only to the 9th level, because that's all mortals have been able to do in the first place. Any attempts at spells that surpass the 9th level have ended in disaster, never fully completed. No mortal, no matter how skilled, how beloved by the gods, can harness enough magical energy, enough of that flow, to do anything greater than the 9th level. A human wizard trying to cast, say, a 10th level spell would need the amount of energy that is just not possible for them to wield. It would be like trying to fit the charge of a car battery into a AA. It's just not gonna happen. Question 4. Is magic socially acceptable, and how is it regulated? Magic is very powerful, and very dangerous. A high-level wizard could easily enchant or fireball their way to being top dog of an entire city. However, magic has plenty of benefits, and it's common enough that trying to forbid it outright would just be stupid. Therefore, spellcasters in this world shall be granted special permissions and permits, depending on the nature of their magic and the society they live in. Abjuration and divination magic, for example, might have little to no restrictions in any civilization, because those spells are unlikely to cause direct harm to people or property. By contrast, spells of the evocation and enchantment schools are either going to be heavily regulated or straight up forbidden, seeing as how one, it turns you into a walking time bomb, and the other is straight up mind control. This makes sense. Also, whether or not people prefer divine magic to arcane magic is also going to come down to the culture you create, but we can tackle that another day. But we can't talk about magic in society without talking about, well, society. Often what is or is not acceptable within society is defined by social status just as much as law. Criminals, outlaws, and rebels likely do not care what spell is considered illegal or immoral, and will take every advantage they can to successfully achieve their goals. Those at the tippy top of society, the nobles, the royalty, the super wealthy merchants, and the like, are going to abide by the rules on the surface while abusing loopholes and connections to get away with some seriously illegal spellcasting behind closed doors. Remember when you would get caught doing a crime in Skyrim, and you would hit them with that, "I'm the Thane, no jail time for me"? That's basically what that is. The Master Thief shall use Delayed Blast Fireball to cover their tracks, and the Corrupt Prince will use Charm Person to expedite their rise to power. Question 5. How do people use magic? So, we've established what magic is and its presence within the setting, but how do people use it? I feel like most sentient creatures, especially humanoids, would use whatever magic they can get to achieve some kind of advantage, or make their lives easier. A peasant farmer in the countryside would use magic to protect his crops or get really good tomato harvests. A city guard would probably have a ring that allows them to cast detect magic once a day, or perhaps some anti-magic handcuffs, which you would want if you're a cop trying to arrest a man in a pointy hat whose hands also double as grenade launchers. And a street performer would have illusion magic to give their performance a little extra oomph. Evocation magic, a must-have for any military power. Businesses would probably use Animate Dead for free/cheap labor, assuming you don't mind your Amazon package getting delivered by a skeleton. We were using zombies at first, but they were just a little too smelly. And of course, the nobility, with their greater resources and wealth, would invest into magical countermeasures for anything threatening their position, or to get a leg up on rivals. Divination to spy on political opponents, enchantment magic during trade talks to ensure they get a better deal. If purify food and drink, look me in the eye and tell me the Lannisters from Game of Thrones wouldn't have invested like 30% of their riches into things like revivify or purify food and drink, or dominate person. Question 6. How do people protect themselves from magic? Let's say you live in a world where you might bump into a guy, he waves his hand at you and shouts, "Testicular torsion!" You're gonna want to have a way to undo the torsion, or prevent it from happening in the first place. And that applies to the people of your world as well. They want protection from magic. And where do they get that? From a spellcaster, of course. Fight fireballs with more fireballs, I say. Or a counterspell works too, I guess. If you're a coward. Big cities and wealthy individuals would have wizards and sorcerers on the payroll specifically for this purpose. Those poorer places, on the other hand, might have a local shaman, a kindly local druid, maybe a magic artifact passed down as a treasure of the town. But for those who can't afford any of that or don't have access to any of that, yeah, they're in a lot of trouble. They're gonna need to placate the mystical beings around them for survival. Like leaving out an offering of food for the Fae to ensure that your grains grow extra plump this year. An offering of livestock to the local dragon so that he pretty please doesn't burn down my home pretty please. Or sending off the village's prettiest daughter once a year to the nice old ladies who live in the swamp nearby. Don't worry about what they do with the village girls. Seriously, it's fine. Everything is fine. Stop asking questions. They can hear you. And with that, we have established the fundamentals for magic in this world in such a way that feels genuine, but still fantastic. You know, despite all my jokes and jabs, world building really is a lot of fun, and I enjoy it so much. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys like this series, if you want to see more like it. I am having a good time, so I'd love to do another video. I think the next one I do would be on monsters, and how to make them a living part of your world. And let me know how you guys incorporate magic into your own settings and your own games. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Special thank you to my Patreon supporters for supporting this. You guys are the magic in my life. Special thanks to Scorched BASIN for sponsoring this video. Check out their Kickstarter in the link below. And that's all from me. I'll see you guys later. Cheers!